Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Sunday, December 17th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. AEW Collision Winter is Coming aired live on TNT Saturday night from the Curtis Culwall Center in Garland, Texas. In the main event, Bryan Danielson defeated Brody King in a Continental Classic Blue League match. With the win, Danielson pulled into a first-place tie with Andrade El Idolo with 9 points. Earlier in the night, Andrade's attempt to clinch a spot in the semifinal fell short as he fell to Danielson's Blackpool Combat Club partner Claudio Castagnoli. The other Continental Classic Blue League bout saw Eddie Kingston keep his chances of advancing alive by defeating Daniel Garcia. Kingston now has 6 points and is tied for second place in the blue block alongside Brody King and Claudio. The final night of Continental Classic Gold Block matches are expected this coming Wednesday on Dynamite. In other results, Orange Cassidy made the 5th defense of his current AEW International title reign by turning back the challenge of Brian Keith. Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale won a women's tag team street fight over Diamante and Mercedes Martinez, and Abaddon defeated Jasmine Allure. After Abaddon's bout, she was confronted by TBS champion Julia Hart, who was joined by Sky Blue in beating Abaddon down until Thunder Rosa, who was doing commentary, ran down to chase the heels off. Also on Collision, Adam Copeland challenged Christian Cage to a no disqualification match at World's End for Cage's TNT title. In more AEW news, during the ROH Final Battle media scrum last Friday night, Tony Khan addressed the rumors of WWE executives meeting with Warner Bros. Discovery earlier this week pertaining to TV rights to Monday Night Raw and what this might mean for AEW programming.
It's worth the fight, and I love the fight, and I'm never going to stop fighting it. No matter what happens, no matter how things change, it's worth it. It's the fight Jim Crockett fought, and Vern Gagne, and Ted Turner, and so many other people that have tried, and God bless them all. And I'm doing this for all of you. And I know all of you are here in spirit. So thank you very much. To be a challenger brand, there hasn't been a company like AEW that had this big of a market share since the 90s. It's really cool. And like I said, I think the juggernaut is, in many ways that we're up against, is bigger than ever and more imposing than ever. And in a digital era, when you're facing that kind of juggernaut, it's constant pressure. And I think this year we've delivered with more great shows than ever before. And it's a great time to be AEW. And so I'm really excited about what we're doing.
An update on Liv Morgan's legal woes. Sources within WWE have indicated to Fightful that Morgan's recent arrest on charges of marijuana possession will not have any effect on her position within the company and was not related to her TV absence as of late. Said one WWE staffer to Fightful, quote, "Liv has not been on TV, did not alter creative plans, and was honest about the situation. There are no issues with her whatsoever," end quote. A top talent within the company also indicated to Fightful that Morgan continues to be well-liked and the situation is expected to be forgotten before long. Although marijuana continues to be prohibited in WWE's wellness policy, the company no longer tests for it and abandoned the standard $2,500 fine associated with it years ago. And in injury news, Charlotte Flair has been scheduled for knee surgery after the holidays, according to PW Insider. Although there had been speculation based on her expected 9-month absence that the injury may have been an ACL tear, sources indicated to PW Insider that the injury is likely worse than a typical ACL tear. It is believed that the injury that occurred during Flair's December 8th match against Asuka may have compounded additional knee injuries. Sources have indicated to the Wrestling News that Flair could be out closer to a year. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the Wrestling News 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, Follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.